Hello. So I'm not Lama Tom. I don't know if this is news for you, but Lama Tom was unable to come today, and lots of people were unable to fill in for him, and so here I am. I am the teacher downstairs for the Intro to Buddhism classes. So we are going to be doing that today to the best of my ability, and hopefully with the wide range of knowledge present in this room, we can make more of it than an intro class, but it's all good. I can see some people are still looking, but we can just get started. We have some Zoom users who were thinking they were going to the intro class, so I'm hoping I can kind of keep track of them, and I might not. So I'm glad you're here. As Zoom users, you can go to the recorded session and watch that, but here you are. So maybe I'll try to remember to look over every minute or so as we get started. So as I said, my name is Sally Crandall, and I know quite a few of you, I think, at least by face. And the subject of today's class is the three vehicles, or the three Yanas. And I look at my notes here, and it all starts out with happiness, our quest for happiness. And I want to combine that in my own mind with our quest for clarity and how there's an outer way to do it, which is more difficult, trying to put down every fire that comes up in an emotional life. Or putting leather all over the world, as that saying goes, trying to prevent yourself from getting hurt at every moment. There's an inner way, which is a spiritual method, and it involves working with our minds, and that is like putting leather on our feet to be able to walk anywhere comfortably. I'm going to look here. Okay. So Buddhism, from the absolute point of view, offers one path and one goal, which is enlightenment. But from the relative point of view, the point of view of all of us here being together, there are many ways to get there, a variety of methods to suit many people and the way they see the world. So these methods are included or contained in the three collections of teachings, which is what we're here to talk about today, the Hinayana, the Mahayana, and the Vajrayana, which are the three sections of the Buddhist path. To me, they are the increasingly enriched way of going along that path to enlightenment, or Buddhahood. So the very first place on that path is the Hinayana path, or it's called a path of individual liberation. It's our waking up. It is called a smaller vehicle because the way I look at it anyway, it's got room for one person. And that person is you looking for an individual liberation. That path, what is used by the people on that path is the following. The Four Noble Truths is something that someone on that path, or even really a person beginning to study Buddhism, contemplates. They are the foundation of all Buddhist teaching. So the Four Noble Truths are that there is suffering in this life, that cannot be denied, that it has a cause, and that cause is self-clinging. It has a cure, which is the abandonment of self-clinging. And it has a path, which is the Hinayana path. Or in the larger, are all three paths. So the emphasis of the Hinayana path, I also wanted to included in that must-do for the Hinayana path is the Eightfold Noble Path, of which the four sayings are to do no harm, to practice virtue, to tame the mind, and that is the teaching of the Buddha. Those two things, if you're a beginning Buddhist person and you're beginning on that path, those are the things to think about first. It's a path of renunciation. So you're letting go of all the clinging and the stories that are in your mind. You're working with shamatha meditation as the way to be able to let go of those stories and the thoughts that are so strong so many times. So the goal of the Hinayana path is an egoless liberation from samsara. So samsara is that circle of beings where there is so much suffering, in case someone is wondering. The goal is an openness due to the lack of confusion. The person who becomes that part of accomplishing that path is an arhat. So that person is an egoless person. So I know when I first came here, I thought that was probably a short thing that you did on the way to other things. And it can take a lifetime or more, of course, to conquer all those thoughts and occurrences, to tame your mind in that way. I went to the Museum of Modern Art Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York and saw an Arhat statue. It was impressive. It was a man 6 feet tall in porcelain, and he had the long ears of an enlightened being, dressed in clothes and just standing with his hands like that. So that's a process to be able to tame your mind in that fashion. The next place of the three vehicles is a Mahayana path, and that is called the greater vehicle because there's room for more people. It's in that place you find yourself ready to open the door and let people in with their stinky feet and bad breath and terrible opinions. And you work with them. The motivation of the Mahayana path is to liberate all beings from suffering by leading them to enlightenment. The emphasis of that path is transforming, in particular, transforming negative emotions, anger, ignorance, desire, jealousy, pride. We look beyond our own suffering and are ready to see that all beings want happiness and that we all experience that same suffering. So the primary practice of the Mahayana path is compassion meditation, or Tonglen. Tonglen is sending out or taking in the despair, the pain of others, and sending out clarity, goodwill. Last week, Lama Kathy, she practiced metta meditation, metta practice, which was, it didn't involve taking in the pain of others. As a practice, sometimes that can be really difficult and hard to do. But I'm thinking, just for today, maybe we could all practice metta meditation. I'm not sure you'd call it meditation, the metta practice. And you send out your good wishes, your clarity to someone close to you. You send out your good wishes to someone, or you send out your good wishes first to yourself. And then you send out that goodwill and wishes to someone close to you, and then to someone further away. I have to say that I'm really thinking about Lama Tom, who hasn't been here for several important things, and I'm hoping that he's okay. So I am going to choose him as someone I would like to send out good wishes to. So, well, let's try it. So first, kind of take a deep breath and send out that clarity that you have to yourself in front of you. See yourself in front of you. Oh, see it. Pick someone close to you who maybe needs your help or good wishes. Take a deep breath and send that to them. Pick someone or several someones you don't know that well and see what you can send to them. So that's a main practice that falls under the Mahayana path, or the path of liberation for all. Also, the 6 paramitas are part of that practice, are the perfect virtues, the things to aim for. Generosity is one. It's so easy to think of generosity as giving someone something, but it can be so many things. Your time, giving, being generous with yourself. Ethical conduct, patience. That's a hard one. Diligence. I like the word joyful diligence. When I think of it like that, it makes the job that I'm taking on, which seems like such a burden, if I can think of it as joyful diligence, I understand better. Meditation, meditative stability, having a practice, working at it, and wisdom. Wisdom to me comes from all of that together, being able to do it. So the Mahayana goal is the complete realization of Buddhahood. It can take countless lifetimes on the Mahayana path. And if you're on that path working towards that goal, you are a bodhisattva. So in my mind, and I might be incorrect, but I look at this as one big, long path of ever-deepening richness. Starting here at the Hinayana place, getting deeper and wider and richer the more you go along. Because the last part is the Vajrayana path, or it's called the path of indestructible mind. The first two are causal paths, where you're working on changing things. Letting go in the Hinayana, working with your emotions in the Mahayana, and then in the Vajrayana, it is realization. Did I just say that too softly? Realization. I could feel it come out like a whisper. So the Mahayana and the Vajrayana are not dissimilar. The motivation of the Vajrayana, like the Mahayana, is the liberation of all sentient beings. The teachings, the practices get ever more rich. So the Vajrayana teachings are drawn from texts called tantras. It's also called tantrayana. Tantra means thread or continuum, referring to the nature, the Buddha nature in all beings. The Vajrayana emphasis is on recognizing the ultimate mind, the ultimate nature of mind, and all phenomenon. It's also called the path of skillful means, and it refers to the primary practices of mantra meditation or deity meditation. So here at KTC, we do Chenresig practice, we do Tara practice, and others, many others. So in the mantra practices, you meditate on the body and the speech and the mind of a meditational deity. It's not a god. It's your own mind that you're celebrating in those practices. Chenresig is compassion. Green Tara is I want to say fearlessness. That's not the one. Yes, fearlessness, yes. So you meditate on those. They are the embodiment of those perfected qualities. And doing that, you take on for just a moment the presence of that deity. You get to experience for not long what that deity is, and then let it go. And then in your own life, you can bring that forward again once you've been practicing that. We can cultivate a sacred outlook on and off the cushion, training in seeing all form as the body of the Buddha, as all sound as mantra, and all thought as awareness. So, the Vajrayana goal is the complete realization of Buddhahood. But instead of requiring countless lifetimes due to the special, skillful methods of Vajrayana, this can be attained in one lifetime or a small number of lifetimes. There are many practices that are part of the Vajrayana practice. The practice and involvement of the practitioners in those, I think that is what they're talking about there. So the Buddhist path is a progression in which we gradually broaden our view and our aspiration. For meditation to be effective, we have to bring into our practice elements of all the three vehicles. First is letting go of our fixations on our worldly situations. The second from the Madhyana is benefiting others as much as possible through positive thoughts, words, and actions. And the third is learning to recognize our innate potential and develop a sacred outlook. So that's a basic introduction to the three yanas. And I want to let you know that just last week, Lama Kathy talked a great deal about the three vehicles. So it's worth going back to listen to that. And not long ago, I think it was January 18th, Lama Tom gave a talk called A Complete Road to Happiness, which is very much about the three yanas. So you can go back in the other Dharma talks and take a look. I used to work as a librarian in a school, and I did a lot of storytelling there, and I have a story that seems to fit kind of what we're doing, what I'm talking about today, so I think I would like to tell it to you. I have told it before, and hopefully there aren't many people here who know it, but it does seem to fit. So I'm going to tell it to you. It's called A Boy Who Drew Cats. So here it is. Once in Japan, there was a family of farmers. There was a boy, 3 boys, and their parents. One day, out of almost nowhere, a drought fell over their valley, and soon there was no rain, no water, nothing in the well. So the mother and the father, they looked at their 3 sons, and they looked at their youngest son and knew of all of them, he might be the one in the most trouble of surviving this time. So they took that boy up the hill to the temple. And they knocked on the door, and it was opened by the monks. And the mother and father said to the monks, as they looked out, "Our boy is smart. Our boy is helpful." Mm-hmm. And the monks looked out at the 3 of them and knew they wanted to leave. They knew that the parents wanted to leave that boy with them. And they looked at each other. No, there was so little water, so little food, and they were going to turn that boy away. When the oldest monk of the temple came to the door, and he looked at the boy, and he took the boy inside, and they talked a bit, and the monk came back, and he said, he can stay. So the mother and the father, they turned and left, and the boy and the old monk waved goodbye. They closed the big doors of the temple, and the old monk looked down at that boy. In our temple, we do our jobs. We sing our songs. We say our prayers. No more, no less, huh? hi. And the boy, he did his job all day as he should, and that night he went upstairs and he unrolled his sleeping mat, and he took out an ink stick, a grinding stone, and a block of ink, because that boy loved to draw cats. He loved to draw, but cats most of all. And he went to sleep. And the next morning, when all the monks got up and everybody's going down for breakfast, there on the floor, cats? And cats? Oh, cats. Well, the boy was the newest one. They looked at him, but he looked back with so much innocence that they didn't accuse him. So that day all went well, and everyone went to sleep. And then in the morning they got up and again and went down, and cats? Cats? They looked again. But again, he looked back at them. He said nothing, and they said nothing as well. For 2 days, things weren't well. That boy did his jobs. Everyone was forgetting. And then the next day, they went down, and there were no cats on the floor, no cats on the walls. But when they went to say their prayers, cats. Oh, cats. It was you, huh? Well, the old monk, he came to the boy and led him aside. In our temple, we do our jobs. We sing our songs. We say our prayers. No more, no less, huh? You cannot stay if this is what you do. Well, the boy, he said, hi. And, well, everything did go very well. The boy did his jobs. He sang the songs of the monks. And when one morning he woke up, and like you are when you're newly woken up, he wasn't thinking. And he reached for his ink stick, and he drew one cat right here, like that, on the wall behind him. The other monks saw, they pointed it out. The old monk came and took him downstairs and opened the door, and he said, who you are to be, it cannot be here. And the boy went outside, and it was cold, and he had his things with him. And the old monk began to close the big door of the temple when he stopped. You only sleep in small spaces, not large. So with that, the big door did shut, and the boy was left standing there alone, and he didn't think to go back to his family. He thought to go up the hill instead. I know there's a temple up there. Perhaps they need a boy. So that's where he went. And when he got to the outskirts of the village where the temple was, there was no one there. And when he went to the temple door, he knocked, and it just echoed through the big rooms of the temple. What he didn't know was in that village there was a demon who had eaten all the people. And so the boy opened that big door, and he looked in, and there was just cobwebs there. They need a boy here. I can get rid of those cobwebs. So he went and he got the broom, and he started to work. And he worked all day, and he did get rid of the cobwebs, and he did look for people coming home from the temple, people to the temple, the people to be in the village, but no one did. So he prepared for nightfall, and he laid out his ink stick and his bedroll and his grinding stone, and he prepared to go to sleep when he remembered the older monk's words, which were sleep only in small spaces, not large. So he did. He looked around and there was a low cupboard and he squeezed himself in there. But when he looked out, he could see the sun slanting through the room, and he saw something he'd never seen before of his day cleaning. It was a big threefold thing. That big, those things that can fold. Screen was that. And when he saw it, he was excited. He scrambled out of there. He took his ink stick, his grinding stone, and his brush, and he drew. He drew to his heart's content cats. Cats eating, cats fighting, cats playing, everything. And then he went into the cupboard and he fell fast asleep. In the middle of the night, he felt something hit that cupboard so hard. Wham! And he was jolted awake. He didn't say anything. And because after that he heard scratching and screaming and yowling, a fight, a big one. And he just waited to be discovered and eaten by whatever that was. He waited, curled up into himself all night, but he wasn't eaten. And when the light came through those slats, it was quiet. So the boy opened the cupboard and he looked, and there, the entire length of the room was a big demon. It was long snout, big body, a long tail, and covered in blood. The boy tiptoed around that creature, and he looked where his cats were on the screen, and their claws were dripping blood. Oh, he let himself out and ran down the mountainside to that old monk, the one he had spoken to. He told him everything that had happened. And the old monk said, it was you. It was your cats. That was a demon, the one in charge of that drought. It was you who cured it, the drought. One day, you will become a famous artist. Oh, well, the boy went back to his family, and sure enough, the drought was broken. There was rain, there was water, there was crops. Sure enough, that boy became a famous artist in Japan. And whatever he drew, not a day ever passed that he didn't draw at least one cat. And that's the boy who drew cats. It's a Zen story. And to me, it felt applicable thinking about the three Yanas with the monks who may not have been able to see beyond themselves and what they did. And the other monk who, because of his journey into clarity, enlightenment, he could see what was even hard to do, putting a child out like that. And he did it. So when I was thinking about preparing for this, it did come to mind. So it is 10 after, or 5 after, and there's certainly time for questions or comments and with such a wide range of abilities here amongst us, that's a good thing. Okay. Thundering feet, there they are.
What was that?
What?
Yeah, thank you, Sally. Yeah, thanks for doing that today.
Okay.
It was great. I really liked your presence. So I've had a thought, for a long time about the Mahayana, aspect of the Buddhist path. And having been raised Christian, I sometimes think to myself that Mahayana path is maybe the most like a Christian approach. And I wonder if you've ever had similar thoughts about that.
Well, why don't you expand on that?
Well, okay, I guess the, as you described it, it's, Mahayana, I think it means wider, wider road, right? And the whole, again, plagiarizing, of course, what I've heard, but it seems like, in the Hinayana, we're more focused on our own, like, personal neuroses, right? And coming to working terms with that. Then the Mahayana, we're opening up and opening our heart and trying to sort of more effectively act on our compassion, right? And I guess, I don't know, when I think about the basic Christian message, when it's practiced appropriately, it seems to be about compassion and about opening heart. So I guess I don't think Christianity has a Vajrayana approach, or maybe it does, that in a way that I haven't thought about it. But yeah, I don't know. I've just always thought to myself, you might say that, for the sake of having a rich conversation with your Christian fellows.
Yeah, I think they're all so tied together, all of them, all of our various religions with so many similar parts. I can see what you're saying for sure. Yeah. Does anybody have a comment on that? A thought? Go right there. Yep, I know that feeling. Oh, there. Very brave, yay. Oh.
That's why I usually don't sit on a cushion, but there was no chairs. I just was going to say that one of the monks who taught here, I can't remember who, said that some Buddhists believe that Jesus was actually a Buddha.
Oh, yeah.
And he came to the Jews trying to hurry that religion along.
Say that one more time.
Trying to hurry that religion along on the path. So.
He came to the Jews trying to hurry the Christian religion?
No, well, that's what it became.
Okay.
But what he was trying to do was to open it up and, be compassion, peace, love your neighbor as yourself. Mm-hmm. But that's when he said that perhaps Jesus was actually a Buddha who was coming.
Because he actually was a Buddha?
Well, they say some of the Buddhists believe that he was actually a Buddha who had
Is that possible?
incarnated.
Can you be a Buddha and not be Buddhist?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's totally possible. That's just a word, really.
Yeah.
The being is what counts, I think.
Thanks.
So yeah, I just agree with that. I think they're very relatable to each other, Buddhism and Christianity. And actually other religions too, but particularly because of, how we were raised with probably most of us as Christians.
Uh-huh.
So.
Thanks. So I'm not sure, in terms of that being a Zen story and a spooky one as well, I'm not familiar enough with Zen religion. I hope I made an accurate comparison. But I'll just let you know that. Hey, David.
Thank you, Sally. Not to make any comparisons. I don't want to evaluate.
Okay.
But boy, you can sit way longer than me.
Oh, yeah?
So maybe you could give a word about that and shamatha.
What do you mean? Sitting a long time?
Well, you sat through from 10 to 11. You don't walk. And now you're here.
Yeah. Well, I
You
can't
made
get up.
it 40 minutes.
So, yeah, I won't be able to get up, no. I mean, it'll be a long process. You can stay and watch.
Sure. I'll race you.
But the other thing, wait a minute, I had something to say. I forgot. Went in and out. I have been terribly afraid of my feet falling asleep in my past, especially as a beginning Buddhist. The sensation of feet falling asleep was enough to make me get up and run around. And so that was something to overcome. So now they do fall asleep, and I don't really worry about it too much because I know I'm not going to die. They'll come back. But that's why I don't do the walking meditation. My feet are so asleep that I can't do it.
Well, thank you for that.
Anytime.
Just a couple thoughts. When I do the walking meditation, I try to focus on heel down and then ball the feet down. And that is a good thing for me to focus on. You prompted 2 other ideas.
Okay.
They're gone.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, a person. And another person. Okay.
Well, thank you for this talk.
Thank you.
I was just wondering why certain paths might resonate more with different practitioners. So I'm thinking of my own case. I'm at a point in my practice, I'm pretty early on, but where the Mahayana path resonates with me quite a bit. Sometimes, to be honest, I struggle with the visualizations or mantra practices in terms of just personal resonance with the Vajrayana path. I'm just wondering if that's a karmic thing or just a place along the path or why it might be that some paths resonate more.
Well, here's where I wish I'd been in the 3-year retreat and could really. I'm sure there are people here who could also help, but I think that those paths, everything, to me it seems very fluid, kind of up and down, and you're in bits and pieces all as you go, because I know I go to the deity practices and always have. I think it's probably very normal that you're attracted to one area and exploring it. And I think I didn't answer your question totally. What was the rest?
Well, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think I might be thinking about it in too linear of a way, because you're right, it does kind of flow back and forth between the 3 other ways.
Someone else could disagree, but I think when you're a beginner, you're a beginner no matter where you are. So you're in there maybe doing mantra meditation as a beginner. And then you kind of go back here, and then you get a little richer understanding, and then you go here. And you're, of course, the mantra meditation for me is up in the Vajrayana place. And so I don't know if anyone can set me straight on that, but I'm not sure why that is. Because I would put it more in, maybe I don't understand how long it takes to let other people in your car, in your vehicle. Because once you've let everybody in, and that's just upsetting enough, you work with that a long time. Maybe that's what happened. Then you're up here and you're better able to do all that other stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
I think I just have a quirky comment that pinged after you in the first row, after your comments about how Jesus might have been a Buddha. And I think you said, can you be a Buddha if you're not Buddhist? And I was thinking, well, Jesus wasn't a Christian. It's the people that followed him that developed Christianity. And Buddha, the original Buddha, was not a Buddhist. He was just a guy sitting under a tree thinking. And then I thought of John Prine with the missing years of Christ's life. And I'm like, oh, maybe he was sitting under a tree somewhere, or, who knows? But I just thought that was kind of interesting. I'd never thought of that as a possibility, and now I like to add that to my repertoire.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck. Yeah.
Hi, Sally. Thank
Hi.
you so much for your teaching. It was a lovely surprise, and especially your really skilled and captivated storytelling of the
thanks.
boy. Is it the boy who drew cats? And so my question is probably way too literal, in that the story spoke to me because my daughter is the boy who drew cats in a lot of ways, and she's highly creative, and she gets in trouble for not following the rules, and and I mean, in even things like computer science, she wants to make an art project instead of the computer. I mean, it's that literal. And so I find myself in the position of the monks who say, we do this, we clean, we say our prayers, we say our songs, and how do we balance that as we teach others, like, in a world that very much is where you succeed by following rules that don't always make sense, and to nurture, like that boy they didn't suppress his desire to draw cats to the extent that he wasn't doing it, and in a way it's like our creativity, it's that thing that comes from maybe the Dharmakaya, that's going to save humanity. So how do we live in a world where we have to follow these rules, some of which are arbitrary, and teach others to do so without suppressing that inventive, creative force that may save humanity?
Well, yeah, we all know you just have to love them. At one point, my daughter she had some pretty severe, hard times in school, and unfortunately, it wasn't because of her great creativity. But I did learn I had to really listen to her, kind of let her lead. Too.
Yeah. Well, it's not all, my daughter is not all it's her creativity, but it's also defiance of rules.
That.
Defiance. She's just that way, and it's hard for me to be like, not, I don't want to be punitive the way I've seen and experienced others. At the same time, you want to be that, like, I do feel like that the lead monk was sort of exemplary of that, maybe.
He was.
He loved the boy, and he set boundaries, maybe. I don't know.
I found, too, as a parent, if you can kind of step back and not get involved, and learn a way of stepping back. And this is, what it is, and, there we are.
Yeah. And maybe not taking it personally, because there's a lot
Not taking it personally.
there's also a lot of noise around us about maybe the other monks of this is the way we do things, or this child there's something wrong with this child, or your parenting is something wrong with your parenting, or blah, all that. Maybe that lead monk didn't pay attention to any of that, right?
He didn't. Well, I just felt that he had clarity. He had enlightenment, I felt. He was not afraid even to let that boy go out in the snow, but it's a story. But
Yeah. But
But
there's
he-
it's it's analogous to letting our kids, when they're teenagers, go out and start to be independent, and you think that could be dangerous and to them too. So anyway, probably overly literal, but I just appreciated it.
No, so thank you for asking that question. If anybody can comment on that, that'd be great.
I have a son who's 5, and he likes to do everything like his way,
Yeah.
right? By his rules. The world has to go. Everything that he chooses has to happen his way. And I think I respect that. But I think the most important thing is like to teach compassion, to teach our kids how to be kind to others, and just showing like this is how I want to live, and these are my values, and they watch us, and then they see that, oh, okay, this is how you treat people. And then as far as like following the rules, maybe just getting comfortable with being okay with the way you parent.
Being okay with the way you parent?
Yeah, and not worry about, and living the life like with your own values, and just teach compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of food for practice, truly.
Hi, Sally.
Oh, hi, Sally.
It's-
We've
it's
had
another
two
Sally.
Sallys. There was another Sally.
The third Sally to speak
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
I have several thoughts, and if I can remember them, may tie together both the comments and thoughts about sitting meditation and walking meditation, and also parenting. And I would start my thoughts by saying that I would classify or categorize myself as a beginning Buddhist. I came to Buddhism probably within the last 5 years with reading, and then started coming to temple within the last 6 months. But as I've meditated at home, I've had this thought that I'm forgiving with myself for sitting. My right leg falls asleep and my knee hurts and my foot falls asleep, but I think of myself as a living creature on a living planet, kind of like plants. And if we slowed plants down and looked at them for milliseconds on a camera, like many of us probably did in biology class, we would see that they are constantly moving. Even though when we look at a plant, it might look like it's still, but it's constantly moving and growing and changing and dropping its leaves and making new growth. And so I make micro adjustments to accommodate for my right leg. They're not sweeping movements to be disruptive to my thought process, but I think, and I could be incorrect in this thought process, that it's okay to be a living creature on this planet that's also constantly moving, just like all other animals, and to accommodate for our aches and pains and difficulties with sitting. Same with standing. Today, for example, I was off balance, but I thought that's okay. I'm trying to connect with the earth and continue with the earth as we all move. And tying that together in parenting, of course, it's easier to look retrospectively and think these thoughts. My children are now around 30, in their 30s. And at the time, I remember thinking when they were young and then adolescents and teenagers, was my parenting style correct? Was I too harsh? Was I not harsh enough? Did I not enforce rules? Was I too lax on rules or whatever? But when I would look back retrospectively, even in their youth and even now, I recognized that my parenting style changed. Just like sitting on the cushion, my body makes micro changes. And I think that's okay too, for us to look and say our parenting style might change, and that's okay. I think that's normal.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I agree. Good.
Tying together.
Thanks for that observation. Hi.
So I actually come from a Zen background.
Okay.
And so I love listening to Zen stories like that. And I'd love to provide a different perspective.
Oh, please.
That his drawings of cats are kind of the idea is all is mind. And so his compulsion to draw cats, his delight and joy in drawing cats is his gift to the world. And that each of us has a gift to the world, and that creates our world. And that's also how we save the world. That's our Mahayana. That's our bringing people in, is giving our gifts generously, thoughtfully, carefully, and using the best of ourselves to light the world for others. And so that all is mind, and our beliefs can really create our world.
Yeah.
So that's what I get out of that story.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've known that story a long time, and I thought when I first heard it, I couldn't make any sense of it really, and so over time I've been happy to try and explore it. Thank you.
So Sally, one more.
Yeah.
Along that line, something that has been ringing in my mind ever since you said it that I'll take with me is the phrase, sleep in a small space.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's like the inner work of the Buddhist, sleep in this small space. And then he came out and he drew the cats, and the cats saved the world. And then he'd go back and sleep in a small space every night. So I kind of took that in a
Thank you,
metaphorical
Sydney.
way, I guess. Thank you.
Wow. Guess what we forgot to do? The opening prayer, and I'm looking at the time. So we won't do both. We'll just pretend we did, and we'll do the dedication of merit. I want to thank you so much for all of your comments, and it really felt like a conversation in our Sangha, and we have one more person, and we have time. Go.
Sorry. I just had a quick question. Coming from an overthinker, is meditation supposed to stop your thoughts or just observe them?
Well, observe them. It's an opportunity to get to know your mind. So what comes up in there, you can observe and let go.
And how does like non-attachment work?
Well, it comes out, I bet we could spend a whole nother time, but from meditation, you do learn non-attachment. You learn letting your thoughts go. You learn understanding that your thoughts are stories that your mind is telling you that you should react to, but they're thoughts.
So like people like that for example, my mom, like you wouldn't want her to, obviously I would want my mom for eternity.
Say that one more time.
Like for my mom, like my attachment would be, for example, someone.
Oh, that kind of attachment?
Yeah, like not physical things, more like things, everything's temporary here in this world, I believe so. So those type of attachments are kind of harder to kind of detach than like desires.
Well, I guess the question is that attachment causing you to act in way, I'm not sure I'm heading down the right angle, that street, but is that an attachment helpful to you or harmful? And your mom's, you are attached to your mom, but you're also, I think in your meditation, it's the thoughts that are coming up that you are letting go, trying to let go of, and trying to work with the things that are in your mind.
Right. All right. I appreciate it. Thank
Does
you.
anybody have a comment about that? Well, what a wonderful opportunity this was. I'm so grateful. Thank you all so much. I wish we had remembered the refuge prayer, but we didn't. So now we'll do the dedication of merit in English. By this merit, may all attain omniscience. May it defeat the enemy wrongdoing. From the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, from the ocean of samsara, may I free all beings. The courageous Manjushri, who knows everything as it is, Sumatra Bhadra, who also knows in the same way, and all the bodhisattvas that I may follow in their path. I completely dedicate all this virtue. Thank you.